Welcome to week 3 of the World's Worst Recap. Matt James, Bachelor, whatever you call it. Been a big week here in America. I try not to get too political on this show, but did you guys see the size of Lady Gaga's brooch? All right, last week we left on a to be continued. I'm sure that's all fresh in your minds. So this week we picked up where we left off with Sarah fainting, and Sarah and Matt go for a walk to get some air, which of course drives all the other girls crazy. They're left at the rose ceremony. They're bored. She's getting attention. After their conversation, they get back to the rose ceremony. The remaining roses went to Kayla, Mari, MJ, Anna, Kylie, and Victoria. I'm getting a phone call. A really busy guy. This is Andrew.
Hello?
Hello.
Who is this?
This is Andrew.
You called me?
No, I did not.
Oh, okay. I appreciate it.
Actually, I did call that guy. This little prank I like to play. So this week, Chris says we've got 2 group dates, 1 one-on-one. The first group date goes to Rachel, Bree, Lauren, Kit, Serena C, Victoria, Kayla, Anna, Kylie, and Katie. And the date prompt just says it's a surprise for everyone. I think I need to Google something. 1 second. Okay, so like 6 years ago, Chris Hansen wrote like erotica, sexually erotic novel called The Perfect Letter. And he got to plug his old book this week, and he asked all the girls to write their own erotic fanfic, or what do you want to call it? Sex stories about basically having sex with Matt. This is one of the few times I've laughed during the show, so I'm just going to play the clips.
The thought of his rough but tender hands upon her neck, pushing her against the wall, unbothered by the spectating eyes that surrounded them.
His long, thick legs. She yearned for more power, something deeper. He slid his hand up her gown and pressed firmly against her until she was.
Matt picked up Katie, eager to kiss her. She could feel his while she with excitement. Before he set her down, he teasing her. She slowly pulled down his pants. She traced her hands on his inner thigh, all the way to his.
She pushed him onto his back so she could his. Okay, it gets better.
Actually, been working on one myself here. He stuck his big into her stupid, into her tiny, and she loved it, and he shot all over her. I'm shopping it around, trying to get it published right now. Okay, so the evening portion of that group date, there's some drama. Of course, that's the whole show. Sarah, who's not on the date, shows up and interrupts Katie's time with Matt to tell him that she's, not sure if she wants to be here. It didn't seem like pressing information, but you know how girls get. She even apologized to the group, but it was too late. It was after she'd already interrupted. And so they'd already decided you're the worst person in the world because you talked to Matt when it wasn't your turn. On her way out, Katie and then eventually Victoria confront her. I thought it was a pretty adult conversation they had. They didn't, Katie was very direct and Sarah wasn't combative. I loved it, but that doesn't make good TV. It makes good people. Let me think. He gave a rose to someone. I couldn't tell you who it was. Pull this old bitch up. I really got to start paying better attention to this show if I'm going to do recaps. He picks up the rose. Anna's making a stinky face like she just smelled. He says, "Oh man, I really like you girls. Some more than others. But I got to give this rose to my girl, Rachel." That's right. I like Rachel, and I like her more every ep. Ooh, Kayla thought it was going to go to her. Victoria always thinks it's going to go to her, and she's always wrong. And Bree's confused because she thought they had a good connection last week. That's how it works, girl. The next morning, he's got a one-on-one date. The one-on-one ends up going to Serena P. But before he grabs her for the date, he goes, hey, where's Sarah? I need to talk to her. So that put an even bigger target on her back that he left once again to talk to Sarah. Something about Sarah's. They just need all your attention and all your time. So finally, he starts his date with Vanessa. I called her Vanessa. Finally, he starts his date with Serena P., who reminds me of Vanessa from Nick Viall's season, another Canuck, another Canadian woman with a similar shaped face. They ride horses. They have a little picnic. Some donkeys get in the way. They kiss, of course, because it ain't a date unless you kiss. That's what I always tell my wife. I say, if you're going to kiss me, then it's a date. If you're not going to kiss me, then we're splitting the bill. Back at the house, Sarah, who remember Matt talked to before this one-on-one, she hasn't come down from her room all day, which I guess is like the worst, again, one of the worst things you can do in this setting. All the girls kind of spend their time together, and when one separates herself from the group, it's like a strong message. But I think she probably felt attacked the night before. She's probably dealing with some depression. You don't really feel super social when you're depressed. I don't know if any of you guys know that. Cut her some slack. Anyway, she musters up the courage to come downstairs, and she's immediately attacked. They assault my sweet girl. And again, I'll just play these clips so you can see how mean I'm talking about. I'm not exaggerating. It was mean.
First, I just really want to apologize to the women who I interrupted yesterday. Second, I just want to apologize to all the women for not coming down sooner to clear the air or address the situation. I think if you guys have had the chance to get to know me over the past couple times, hopefully you guys know my heart and see my heart. And
I haven't.
I have had great conversations and connections with you ladies, and I know.
Who is she talking to here? Like what? This is not the Sarah show.
I was literally considering leaving you guys, and honestly, it was just a couple minutes, and I know it was a complete mood shift, and I'm sorry, but I didn't know what else to do.
So if you don't want to be here, then why are you taking someone else's rose that really does want to be here and trust that process?
I do want to be here for Matt. It's really difficult for me, and I think—
You haven't had it difficult. You've had a one-on-one. You had extra time with him. Like, you literally have not had it difficult.
Yeah, just say you needed his validation and you thought you were more important than everyone else's time.
Calculated, and the fact
manipulative, toxic.
And I concur, you're all three of those things, Sarah. Like, that's how you're acting, that you need his attention and he can't talk to other girls or you're gonna go home.
I hear you, and I want to make amends with you ladies. Like, I really sincerely feel.
Why do you think that we want to make amends with you?
The rest of your living situation here is going to be horrible.
Yeah.
You see, there are a lot of people even said, I can't believe Abigail jumped into it. That's what mob mentality does, though. That's that gang mentality when you get caught up in it, where all of a sudden Victoria, that's why you can't have a girl like Victoria around you, because that negative energy can pull down an entire room of otherwise honorable people. So, of course, Sarah leaves the room and cries again, and they're like, she's crying all the time. Well, y'all are constantly hurting her, or she's constantly dealing with emotions and has no one to bounce those off of because what would be her peer group hates her. Thank God Dildo Katie goes and checks on her. I thought it was a sweet moment. So as they're talking, Sarah tells Katie about the situation with her father and how that he might only have weeks to live. And then Katie begins to cry and she says, my father passed away, I think in 2012. Finally, she sees her as a human. They kind of bond on that. It was a very special moment, and she tells her, I would do anything to have that time back with my dad. I encourage you to go. Katie goes back to the girls, tells the girls, we got to go easy on people. We don't know what they're going through, kind of like I mentioned last week, way ahead of the curve. As Katie's having that conversation with the girls, Sarah is going to Matt's suite to tell him that she has decided to leave, and there's more crying and more hugging and more forehead-to-forehead time. So track with me for a second. Last week ended on a to be continued, right? This week picked up from a to be continued, so halfway through a rose ceremony, teased 2 group dates and a one-on-one, but we only saw 1 group date and a one-on-one, and then it was another. They didn't use the term to be continued, but somebody needs to talk to this editing department about time management, because he can't seem to fit one episode in, you know what I mean? I don't remember if it was like that in the past. I feel like they used to get every show, and I get it, okay, I get it, but every show used to be like, I like structure. I like to know what I'm in for. So give me 2 group dates and a one-on-one, or give me 2 one-on-ones and a group date. Give me a nice clean rose ceremony, and then a nice toast at the end, and then just right there as all the glasses of champagne are up, then end the episode with a little preview of coming up next week. Just do that. So that's the show. That's the world's worst recap. I'm sorry. Let's all watch episode 4 together. Let's all tell Sarah hello in the comments and that we miss her. We'll see you next time.